Hi, welcome to my channel. In this video I will show you a very rare French model from Norev in 1/18 scale. This is the Citroen C6. Sit back, follow me and enjoy the video. The Citroen C6 has always been a huge favorite of mine, so I've been looking for this 1/18 scale model for a long time. Unlike Norev, here we get a different packaging with a beautiful design. If I didn't know this model was Norev, I would easily say that based on its packaging, it is a dealer edition Kyosho Citroen. The styrofoam cover is also completely new on this model. Back in the mid-2000s, only Norev Audi versions got the same box. Basically, Norev used clear plexiglass boxes at that time, so from the packaging we can conclude that this model will be something else with a bit more quality. But let's take a closer look at this beautiful model. I really like the details. To this day, the car has beautiful chrome elements, nice detail on the lights. Unfortunately, the paint on the model is not the best. It is blistered in many places. The rims are beautiful, the car has parking radar, and of course the suspension works. We got to the engine bay of the car, which I think is well done. In my opinion, it's on the level of a Kyosho BMW. But now for the interior, which holds many surprises. The C6 has special storage compartments, and much to my surprise they work on this model, not only in the front, but also in the rear doors. That's why this model is a unique one, because Norev to this day doesn't use such working details. Basically, the interior is also beautiful on this model. The contrast between the dark blue paintwork and the beige interior is very elegant. Of course, the details have not been overlooked. There are lots of places where the buttons are raised, but the grills have also been painted to make the dashboard more lifelike, and the chrome detailing is beautiful. And now for the second big surprise, the gear selector. So I think this is the most beautiful Norev interior ever made. But since we're talking about the C6, we can't forget the beauty of the car, which is the concave rear windscreen behind which you'll find the sun visor, and I'll also show you the boot, which is of course beautifully upholstered inside. And you can see the head-up display, and let's not forget the chassis, which I think is less interesting than the rest of the car, but in the mid-2000s it was all premium the same. I think the Norev Citroen C6 could be the most beautiful Norev model ever made. Unfortunately, the years have not been kind to the paintwork, and if it wasn't so bad, it would be absolutely the most beautiful for me. I had another one of these, but unfortunately it was the same. However, the fact is that this model has features that other premium manufacturers would envy. The gear selector and door storage are a huge plus. We've come to expect this from Asian manufacturers, but few European manufacturers offer such functionality. Overall, a big favorite of mine is this model. I think the biggest problem is the high price on the used market, and since there is not much alternative, the price is not really going to go down. In the future, I don't think it's impossible that Automobile will release it, but until then, the only option for a higher quality version is the Norev. The Citroen C6 is a very divisive car. Some people love it and some people don't like its styling at all. I'm in the first group. Citroen has been developing its hydro-pneumatic system for a very long time, and the C6 has its roots in the DS, which has now become a premium brand in its own right. No wonder these hydro-pneumatic Citroens offer a level of ride comfort that few can match today. But let's go back in time. Citroen's first premium product was the Traction Avant, and the successor model was developed by Citroen for 18 years before the DS19 was launched in October 1955. The car was a huge success from its launch, to the extent that 12,000 pre-orders had been taken by the end of the launch. The Citroen DS was a huge innovation in the history of car manufacturing, full of innovations including the hydro-pneumatic suspension, which was a first in series production. The DS was available in several different body styles, for example in a station wagon brake version and a cabriolet version. Today, the DS has had a very long production cycle until 1975. In 1974, the successor CX was introduced and sales started in 1975. Following tradition, the CX also inherited the hydro-pneumatic suspension. The first 3 years were a huge success in terms of sales, with over 132,000 units sold during this period. There were also 2 civilian versions of this model, the regular version and the brake version, which was available in a version for up to 8 people. The CX also had a very long production cycle, lasting 17 years, and after several facelifts, it was discontinued in 1991 with more than 1,170,000 units produced. In 1989, the futuristic successor model, the Citroen XM, was launched. In parallel, the CX brake version remained in production until 1991, when the estate version of the XM was introduced. In 1990, it won the first place for Car of the Year, but the XM was not as successful as, say, its predecessors. The car underwent a model facelift in 1994 and was already produced in China market. Unfortunately, sales were very low. After 11 years, production stopped in 2000, and in that time just over 330,000 units were sold, almost a quarter of the CX's sales. However, Citroen engineers worked behind the scenes on the project for 6 years until the C6 went into production. Many things have changed from the prototype, but the shape of the car remains faithful to the study. The plan was to have the model on the market by the end of 2000, but it was delayed a lot. Like the predecessor models, the C6 had a hydro-pneumatic suspension, and as Citroen wanted to get a slice of the premium car market, it was only available with a V6 engine. Apart from a single 4-cylinder diesel, until 2009, the engine range included a choice of 2.2-liter 4-cylinder diesel, a 2.7-liter Ford V6 diesel, and the well-known 3-liter V6 petrol engines of the PSA group. After mid-2009, the 3-liter petrol version was no longer available, and the 2.7-liter diesel was replaced by a more powerful 3-liter version. It was a brilliant car both inside and out, but its very unusual styling was not well understood by many, and unfortunately the sales figures reflected this. Citroen has put a lot of innovative technology into this model, and Citroen hoped that the bold shape combination would win buyers from BMW or Mercedes. Extras such as a head-up display, lane departure warning system, xenon headlights, and a built-in rear spoiler that opens depending on speed were built into the car, and onboard Wi-Fi connectivity was available towards the end of its production run. The target was to produce 20,000 C6s a year, but this number was only slightly exceeded at the end of the 7-year production cycle. The C6 was a quality premium car, and its shape is very timeless to this day, but the biggest problem was the pricing of the car. It wasn't much cheaper than, say, a competing Mercedes or BMW, but the styling was so radical among conservative premium car buyers that people didn't want to spend that much money on a Citroen. For a very long time, the C6 was also used as a presidential car in France, with the French state buying several presidential and governmental cars. Production finally ended in May 2012, and it remained without a successor until 2020, when the DS9 was launched. This one is currently produced in China and probably won't be that successful either, as unfortunately the price of this model is quite high, and the other problem is that such a big car is paired with relatively small engines. And a premium car is not only premium because of the design and materials, but the sound of a larger, smoother running car with more than 4 cylinders gives the pleasure that makes it more than an average C3. But that's just my opinion. In today's world, it's understandable that it's all about the environment and environmental standards, and there is now a very strong range of electric cars from competitors. The only DS9 model available with electric drive is a plug-in hybrid, which is lagging behind the competition in the market, and there is no information yet on the arrival of a pure electric version. We have now reached the end of the video. Thank you for your kind attention. I will be back next week with another video. I want to know what you think. If you like it, please write in the comments section if you like this Citroen C6 and which Citroen model is your favorite. If you like my video, please like it. If you haven't already, please subscribe. And if you don't want to miss out on similar content, please hit the bell icon. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.